fun in the sun of Tampa Bay as the Sox hit the road for a very short series in Tampa St. Pete Tropicana Field. The Sox and the Rays in game number 1 of 3. Good evening once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you. Yesterday, the Royals came back to take a late lead, but Daniel Polka had had enough of that, a pinch hit home run, and now he's in the lineup tonight.
Nice to see him in the lineup with his 16 home runs, 42 driven in. Oh, sure, he's hit 3 pinch hit home runs, but I'd like to see 4 at-bats from him. That's what we're going to see tonight. 4 home runs, 9 driven in the last 7 games. Daniel has been red hot, and if he gets the ball down, he usually is going to put a charge into it. One thing you don't want to be known as is a good hitter off the bench, because if you are, you have a tendency to spend some time on the bench, but he's in the lineup.
He certainly is, and he'll face a Rays team we haven't seen since early April, and it is a very changed team. They're trying to go 4 games over 500 for the second time this year.
The Rays decided that they wanted to sell early, get some players off their team and build for the future, and so that's exactly what they did. Archer going to Pittsburgh, Ramos going to Philadelphia, Eovaldi going to Boston, Andres going to Arizona, Venters going to Atlanta, and they got Tommy Pham. They thought he was going to fit very nicely into their outfield, but he's on the disabled list, so this is a ball club certainly in flux. They got a couple teams in their division that are really difficult to beat. They believe what they're doing now will help them in the future.
Very outside shot at the wild card for Tampa Bay. They'd have to get very hot for that to happen as the Sox play here for 3 after the last series in Chicago in April started at 35 degrees. We got it up to nearly 60 when Matt Davidson had this game winner in game number 3. We welcome the Rays back into our world after this.
tested, trusted Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourage trusted Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
A lovely day here in Tampa St. Pete, Tropicana Field, the home of the Rays and the only home of the Rays. There you see that umbrella-like roof with its 4 catwalks, the distinct feature of this ballpark, which has hosted so many different events, but baseball here today. And here are the ground rules, just in case you're not familiar with what's going on in this ballpark. If you have a batted ball that hits either of the 2 lower catwalks, the larger rings, that's a home run. Hits any of the upper 2 catwalks, the ball is in play. If it's caught, batter's out. Batted ball that's not a home run and stays on a catwalk or one of those speakers, whatever it might be, 2 bases. And then a batted ball that hits the catwalk or suspended object at any place in foul territory is a dead ball. It's a foul ball. So those are the ground rules. Rarely does it happen, but sometimes it does, including for the number 2 batter in today's White Sox lineup. Brought to you by the Webb Auto Group, the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price. Go to webcars.com. You may remember last year the Yomer Sanchez home run off the catwalk. He's batting second. Polka, the hero from yesterday, is 4th, then Avia Narvaez, Garcia, Delmonico, and the speedy Tim Anderson.
The defensive setup for the Rays presented by UI Health. This is how Kevin Cash is going to put them out there with Bowers, Kiermaier, and Smith left to right in the outfield. Duffy, Robertson, Wendell, and Crone in the infield. Michael Perez has the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher for the moment is Ryan Stanek. I say for the moment because he's one of those guys that's going to go perhaps 3 innings maybe, and then they'll go to the guy they wanted to start in the first place but didn't. So Stanek is a fireballer. Got a big fastball. That's what he throws mostly. The umpires for the game tonight, Ramon DeJesus has the plate. John Tumpain is at first. The crew chief Jerry Meals at second, and Ed Hickox is at third. It's not a very nice night for baseball. A few folks going to miss this one here. We're ready to play baseball, and I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Jason Benetti.
Steve, thank you. 72 and sunny as always here at Tropicana Field, as the Sox will play 3 against the Rays. So Stanek, the fireballer, about 98 miles an hour on average on that fastball, will get Moncada first. And with that, we are underway with ball number 1. So as you said, Stanek will likely pitch a couple of innings, and then you have Chirinos coming out of the bullpen to eat up the balance of the innings. That's the hope. And when we first saw it with Tampa Bay, the plan was to have a bullpen day one time through the rotation, once out of every 5 days. But they've had so many injuries, they've been forced to really trot it out there a couple days a week.
Actually, now it's up to 4 of the 5 days are your bullpen days, with Snell being the one guy coming off the DL tomorrow that's actually a starting pitcher.
This would be Chris Archer's day to start, but he's starting in Pittsburgh instead of here in Tampa with what we showed you at the trade deadline. The first thought when you see something like this, especially I would imagine for you as a starting pitcher, you say, well, why would you do that? Starting pitching is extremely important. And for a lot of people, that's the opinion. But we were talking before the game, when you have it explained to you, there's some logic here.
No, what's going to happen is, I mean, if it happens ideally, and again, this is the ideal situation, your guy who's going to be the starting pitcher to come in either the third or the fourth inning, depending on how long Stanek goes, if he faces him 3 times through the lineup, he's going to get the lower part the 3rd time. And that is the biggest advantage of this scenario. You don't face the top hitters the 3rd time through, which is a trouble spot for most starting pitchers, so that is the philosophy behind it. That's all well and good, except if the guy who starts a ball game, in this case Stanek, has some problems, and if he has problems, then it has a ripple effect through the staff.
3-2, Moncada fouls it away. Yeah, if you have a hiccup, it can hurt you for days. And that's the case if you're using a traditional starter, but you have more pitfall possibilities in this scenario.
And this is a team that, look, they've played pretty well with this system that they've got. They've been trying to implement this system the better part of the last 3 or 4 years. Finally, they've got a situation where it seems to work for them. But it's a team just barely above 500, but they are above 500.
Fastball soaring in there at 99 for strike 3. And 1 down. So the Rays in the first inning this year, you're wondering exactly how effective it's been, and it's only been a couple of months. True starters at 2.32 ERA, openers at 3.97, but there is one outing that's included there. Johnny Venters against the Nationals a couple of months ago got obliterated in 1 game. So that kind of swells that ERA in the first inning. For the most part, it has done the service of what they've needed with all of their starting pitching injuries this year. Venters, of course, one of those players traded around the deadline. The bionic elbowed reliever.
And one of the things you've got to realize when you start on this path is that you better develop your own pitchers, because you're not going to get a starting pitcher coming to you. That's just one of the things. He's not going to do that because he's not going to get the kind of work that he should get. And you're going to find relief pitchers with some pretty big numbers, which is all well and good in their world. For the starting pitcher, you're not going to get the amount of innings that you really need. You're not going to get the decisions you really need. And so again, if you're developing your own, that's one thing, and that's a good thing. But because you're not going to get a whole lot of help from a lot of starting pitchers wanting to come to you, you're going to have to develop your own.
2 strikes on Sanchez. That fades outside, 1-2. You're essentially carving out yourself as the place to go if you want to be both. If you want to be a swingman, not many people aspire to be that, but you're carving out at least the knowledge of what you're going to get if you show up here.
Yeah, and there are jobs to be had.
Strikeout number 2 for Stanek. And 2 out here in the first.
That was on a straight change. When you throw 98, 99, you can't be looking for a straight change. So Stanek this year, as a starting pitcher, the ERA is fine at 2.28.
Well, we talked about it in the context of John Axford for the Blue Jays when Toronto was in town during the last homestand. You get a guy like that who's never made a major league start, he gets pretty jazzed up about it. And some of their relievers are excited about this scenario because they just get the lay of the land differently than they used to.
And they know they're only going a couple innings, so they can just air it out. For a starting pitcher, he's not going to be able to do that. Starting pitcher, even in today's limited workload, a starting pitcher still believes he's going to get into the 7th inning. So he's not going to air it out in the first couple of innings. He's going to hold something back. That's not the case with Stanek, who's going to show you everything he's got early.
Kevin Cash and the Rays staff have looked through this prism as well. They've said batters typically are less able to hit 99 or 100 in the first inning because they have not had an at-bat as yet. Do you buy that?
I think there's certainly something to it, but if that was the case, then nobody would ever be able to hit that lockdown closer after you had a soft tossing left-hander in the game.
Right.
I mean, if you have a soft tossing left-hander who's going to show you 88, 89, going to give you a changeup off of that, well, then that guy coming in at 99 would never be hit, judging by that particular standard. But that's not the case. We know that. We've seen high velocity pitchers get crushed after coming in against soft tossing left-handers. So it depends on the pitcher.
Ball and 2 strikes from Stanek. That is strike 3. He fans the side, the opener does for Tampa Bay. Lucas Giolito starting for the Sox after this. Duffy and Bowers, who's had a very nice year so far. Crone, Choi, and Robertson. Wendell, the newcomer, Perez, and Malik Smith, who wore out the Sox back in April.
The defensive setup for our Sox presented by UI Health. This is how Ricky Renteria is going to put them out there with Nicky, Leuri, and Avisail in the outfield. Yolmer, Tim, Yoan, and Jose in the infield. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience Amazing starting pitcher is Lucas Giolito. On for his 22nd start. He's looking for his 8th win. He wants to even it up at 8-8. His ERA a touch over 6. There you look at the rest of the numbers, and the strikeouts starting to get a few more than the walks. That was problematic for Lucas. Hopefully those numbers will turn around.
He'll face Kiermaier first. Check swing on a ball low. He did not go. So ball 1 on Kiermaier, who's one of just a couple of players for Tampa who have seen Lucas Giolito in the past. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Off speed away, a swing and a miss, 1-1.
Good straight change early in this one by Lucas. That one just drifted away and sunk at the very last instant, so it looked like a strike when it left his hand. Didn't turn out that way.
That was not a swing. He was just trying to fish out the ball. Lucas so far this year, pitches number 1 through 15. The opponent's on base percentage has been nearly .450 at .446. But then as the start goes along, those numbers have declined for the most part until pitches 61 to 75, which is second or third time through. But the first inning has been the rough and tumble spot for Lucas all year.
Yeah, he's trying to get through that first inning. If he can get through the first inning without giving up anything, he's usually in very good shape.
2-2 on Kiermaier, who's 0 for his last 7 after having a hit in 10 of 11. On the ground, back to Lucas. He's got it, and he's the owner of out number 1. So Giolito, you've seen him throw likely at some point this year, if not all of his starts. He'll throw the slider. Average against that is 160. The changeup batting average is declining actually to 259. But the fastball command has been off and on for him this year.
usually when he centers up his delivery, when he's not falling off the mound to the first base side, he's got pretty good command of that fastball. But sometimes the motion gets a little unhinged, and consequently, he doesn't have the same type of rhythm.
Talking about when he falls off the mound a little more than we saw there.
Falls off the mound to the first base side. When that happens, usually he takes the ball with him, and he's not in the zone with much of anything.
One strike to Duffy, and there's that hook for a strike. 0-2.
Nice that he's throwing that early, because when he has confidence in that, normally he's throwing the ball very well. And last year, the last 7 starts was a great pitch for him. It was a very good pitch for him in the spring, and then he just lost it.
There's the slider. 1-2. It's like he ran into so many negative counts. 2-0, 3-1. He just stopped throwing it early in games, and it went away.
Yeah, he just didn't have command of it, because those first few games it was so cold he couldn't get the finger, the feeling on his fingers, and that really stopped him from throwing good breaking balls.
Left side of the infield, Sanchez gobbles it up and has out number 2. We've got 9 innings of baseball for you, plus all of this. The Random Sox leaderboard, the most homers at the Trop. Place your bets with your friends right now. Some bat flip karma from a walk-off for the Phillies from yesterday. And then guess what? Mark Burley did something good against Tampa Bay.
I did see some of the tape. He looked like he was 12.
Didn't he?
Yeah, he was very young there.
You watch enough baseball and you watch every game, and you kind of see these people grow up. I mean, but you forget. I mean, the last look you have at somebody is kind of what sticks in your mind.
Yeah.
You forget the young days of somebody who was around for so long.
And Mark was around for a long time.
The young Bowers takes a strike, just 22 years old. He had a home run in 3 straight earlier this week, and he has been a big-time slugger for Tampa Bay in his rookie season. Nine homers, a slugging percentage of .506. This is 50th game in Major League Baseball.
With very young hitters, you want to see if they can handle the off-speed pitches. You know pretty much they can handle a fastball. That's how they got to the major leagues in the first place.
2 balls, 2 strikes. So you want to see how he handles the secondary stuff,
Yes,
do you?
I do.
Well, there it is. 302 against the fastball, lower against everything else.
The off-speed pitches at 105. That's what will separate the real good hitters. You're not going to hit the good curveball, but if a pitcher makes a mistake with it, you want to be able to hit it hard.
2-2, fastball, strike 3, inside corner. Giolito dances on the edge in a 1-2-3 first.
game.
And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on MTCO Communications in Metamora, Illinois.
Is that where that is?
No, that's on the 7 Seas.
The angry seas.
The high seas.
Yeah, indeed.
All I think of when I see that pirate ship, and I doubt anybody in our viewing audience is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, but Gene Deckerhoff, the legendary radio voice of Tampa Bay and Florida State football, yells, "Fire the cannons," every time the Bucs score a touchdown. That's all. Good story. Then I found $5.
It's good to know.
Here's Daniel Palka, who in the month of July, and we know how hard he hits the ball.
Yeah, he does.
Since July the 1st, Daniel has the 3rd best slugging percentage in baseball against fastballs. His power plays not only for the Sox lineup or in the division, but across the league.
Especially when that fastball is down.
That was down, but it was not a fastball. And Stanek has struck out all 4 he's seen.
That was the changeup. And again, if you're throwing 98, 99, and you're getting a changeup in the neighborhood, you're going to be a little tougher to hit. There's the straight change. Nice stop by Perez. And he had Daniel well out in front.
So Avi Garcia to the plate. White Sox slugging percentage leader at .511. Got 11 home runs. Stanek feeds over a strike, and so despite 4 straight outs, the pen is up and ready. Adam Kolarek, just up from AAA, is the one loosening.
And he will eventually take the spot of Stanek, who is a #1 draft pick for these Tampa Bay Rays. 29th overall in 2013. And they used him last year as a closer. He was at Durham. He was brilliant. 37 appearances, a 1.21 ERA, and 8 saves. So when you strike out 60 and you throw just 44 2/3, that's good.
It's real good. Downstairs 2-1 on Avi. Stanek came up here last year after that great run in Durham, and he gave up 13 earned runs in 20 innings. That's a .585 ERA. He was striking out a ton of guys. 13 plus strikeouts per 9 last year. That's down, but so is his ERA this season. 2-1. 2-2. Avi 2 for 2 career against Stanek, including a home run. Not this time. 5 in a row struck out by Stanek. Elvis Night, Friday, August 17th, Guaranteed Rate Field. Join us in remembering the king of rock and roll as the Sox take on the Kansas City Royals at 7:10 p.m. Be sure to stay for the postgame fireworks show as well. Visit whitesox.com to get your tickets today.
Well, it would look like after 5 strikeouts, the only reason to make a trip to the mound is to go to the bullpen. And apparently that's what's going to happen. So he could hardly do any better than 5 hitters and 5 strikeouts, but it earned him a trip to the shower. So that is going to be it for Ryan Stanek. Kolarek is going to come in the ball game, and the fans give him a very brief but heartfelt round of applause. We'll be back. time. And so, after 5 hitters, Adam Kolarek comes in the ball game on for the 8th time. ERA is up there, 1-0 record, however. Only fan 2 in 8 2/3, and he's going to face Narvaez, who most likely will put an end to this reign of terror. 5 hitters, 5 strikeouts. He usually puts the bat on the ball.
You would imagine so.
Yeah.
That would be the hope. So Stanek closes the game with the 5 strikeouts. At least closes the game for him. Wonder how many times in Major League history that's happened. Somebody started a game, struck out every batter he's faced, and then left.
Probably more so now
Yeah.
that Tampa is using this.
But 5 in a row to start the game and then you come out. I would imagine that might be record territory.
Well, I think a lot of hitters are very happy to see him depart. His stuff was pretty good tonight.
I could name 5 of them.
Yeah. All of them. All 5 strikeout swinging.
As you said, part of the idea of this strategy is that the next guy then, the guy who eats the bulk of the innings, doesn't have to face the big part of the order for a 3rd time. In this situation, though, the Sox have Moncada, Sanchez, and Palco, who all are better against right-handed pitching. So Kevin Cash and the Rays really get a bonus there from Stanek. They use a right-hander to get through guys who are tough left-handed and don't end up with a base runner against him.
But now you wouldn't think that Kolarek is going to be in there for 5 innings.
No, you'd imagine it would be Chirinos.
Yeah, eventually when they get to him. And normally they're the 2nd pitcher in, but not so this evening.
2-2 on Omar, whose average is near 290. That's downstairs. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Just 36 strikeouts this year for Narvaez, as Stanek, who was named after Ryne Sandberg, can only take it in. He knows now he doesn't have anything else to do the rest of the night. He's done. Down the left field side, fair, rolling into the corner. Omar does break it up, putting bat on ball. It is a 2-out double.
Pretty amazing as the hit parade continues for Omar Narvaez. He just keeps swinging the bat. They keep finding places to fall. And this one is inside the lines. 2-base hit for Omar. As he continues his red hot hitting.
Here's Garcia. He was 2 for 6 against Tampa Bay in the first series. This ground ball should do it. And that does retire the side. Bottom 2 coming up. Still no score.
Night in Chicago, presented by Chick-fil-A. Join Ozzie Guillen, Doug Glanville, and Layla Rahimi as they break down the biggest stories surrounding the White Sox and the Cubs. Baseball Night in Chicago, Monday at 6:30 on NBC Sports Chicago.
C.J. Cron, G-Man Choi, Daniel Robertson coming up for Tampa Bay here in the second inning. And Cron, who's having his best offensive season in his major league career at age 28.
Well, he's a lot like Mike Trout in that if you throw him above the waist, you're going to have no problems with him. If you throw him low fastballs, you're going to have some problems because he's going to put a charge into it, and he's having a fine year.
And rest assured, that scouting report is in everybody's clubhouse in Major League Baseball. You cannot sneak much by people like that.
Nope. Just keep throwing it up there, and you're going to be in pretty good shape. That was upper reaches of the strike zone, and he could not catch up to it upstairs.
That one's down, and it's swatted to left field on a line to Nicky Delmonico. A couple starts ago, Lucas gave up a home run, and he did exactly the opposite of what the scouting report said on whoever it was. It was Ohtani. And he said, I don't know, I just had a brain cramp, and I threw it exactly where I wasn't supposed to throw it, and he hit that one that looked like a Bo Jackson 1989 home run.
Hence the scouting report. Don't throw it here, you got some problems. And you throw it there, and not a surprise, you got some problems.
Just confirming that what it said was accurate.
Yep.
It's easy to lose focus out there, isn't it? I mean, it can drift when you're out there alone.
The more innings you pitch, the more of a veteran you become, the less distracted you're going to be. It's like seeing G-Man Choi with like 8 or 10 teams during the course of a year. You go to another city, he's starting in the lineup against you.
I had to look it up to figure out where we just saw him, and it was Milwaukee.
Yeah,
about a month and a half ago.
That's it, and here he is again.
Change up away, 2 balls and a strike. First game here was July the 11th for Choi. Sox handled him well with the Brewers. He was 0 for 6.
Hey. They did.
Let him know.
Three balls and a strike as Omar couldn't make the catch, and he is starting today with Kevin Smith on paternity leave. Kevin and wife Jessica expecting their first son, so Dustin Garneau has been called up from AAA Charlotte. Three and one. Choi hits it foul. Nine for 37 with Tampa Bay for G-Man Choi, for this Rays team that just lost 3 of 4 to Baltimore, and then right after that sweeps the Angels. So all over the place right now for Tampa. Up high, ball 4, first base runner on, brings up Robertson. Saturday, August 11th, come celebrate Jim Thome Day when the Sox take on the Indians. First 20,000 fans to enter the ballpark 8 days from now get a Jim Thome Hall of Fame bobblehead. You want that one. It's presented by Wintrust. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com.
That I'm sure is a good-looking bobblehead. A nice souvenir to have in the year that Jim Thome goes in to the Hall of Fame.
Daniel Robertson takes a breaking ball strike. So 0-1. It's amazing the amount of people who say jokingly, oh, wonder if Jim Thome's going to turn into a bad guy now.
Yeah, probably not.
Unlikely.
He hasn't turned in one to this point. I don't think that's in the cards.
The faint sound of cowbell comes through here. Don Cooper, we were talking before the game, and he said the memory he has of this place from 2008 is the cowbells.
That was it.
Yeah.
I remember that also. Very loud.
I was going to say, you seem to cherish that memory.
Oh, yeah, it was really good. More cowbell.
Second base, Moncada. Anderson, turn, double play. 4-6-3, well turned by the Sox.
And it's Ryan Stanek and his 5 strikeouts to start the ball game. It was Moncada. It was Yolmer. It was Jose Abreu. Then Daniel Polka. And it wasn't enough to get one Garcia. You got to get them both. Avi going down on strikes, 5 for 5, and then leaving the ball game.
So that's why we stand where we stand, as Kolarek misses outside with a ball to Nicky Delmonico, who had his first home run this year against Tampa Bay back in April. First game that series was 35 degrees. It was that game that was actually moved up from nighttime to dayside because the weather forecast was so heinous.
Well, had we only known what it was like in Minnesota, we would have cherished that particular day.
It's right where we went.
Because we went to Minnesota for 3 snowouts.
You mean the great hotel stay of 2018?
Yeah, it was a delight.
Seems like you cherish that memory as much as the cowbell.
I do. That was, well, yeah. I think I could deal with snow as opposed to more cowbell.
I don't know. That is there for a strike. 2-2. So Kolarek up from AAA Durham, where if there's one organization that you really believe you're going to get an opportunity at some point this year as a bullpen arm, this is the place to go in AAA.
This would probably be it.
Another strikeout. 1 down. So with what the Rays are doing with their staff, we asked Ricky Renteria about it in our One Thing. All right, so the Rays are opening with relievers.
Yeah.
What do you do differently, if anything, or how do you handle that as the opposing manager?
Well, I think we just set up our lineup to try to see what we can do against the first guy that's in there. Hopefully we can, chip away early. And then our guys are going to have to deal with the ever-changing arms that they bring in to deal with however number of innings that they want them to deal with. And We were just talking about, somebody asked us, maybe it prompts us to start understanding that, batsman probably has to be able to be capable of handling both sides of the mound in terms of the arms. And so we need to just be prepared, which I think we are, and do the best you can.
So what Renteria is talking about there is that he'd like to have batters who are more even in terms of their splits, where they don't favor one side as much as they do.
Well, look, you set your lineup, because of the starting pitcher, but then you realize that he's going to leave pretty soon, and then you're not going to get the matchups you want early, but you hope to get them a little bit later. And it would help if you can hit either type of pitcher. I mean, left-hand hitters come up to the major leagues, they hit left-handers in the minor leagues, and they get to the major leagues, they want to platoon them right away. This might be a ringing endorsement for leaving guys in a game and let them get their at-bats against whoever comes in the ballgame.
Especially with the short benches of today's baseball, right? I mean, you got 3 guys on the bench. You can't be pinch hitting early on, even though maybe you'd like to in a situation.
Yeah, you're not going to start decimating that bench in the 3rd inning. I mean, it's not going to work that way. So you're going to have lefty at bats. You're going to have righty at bats. You're going to have lots of those. And then you see who comes in the ballgame.
Ball and 2 strikes on Tim. Wide of first and foul. Miss all the bullpens down the lines in baseball.
Tough on the outfielders, though, when they go to the mound side of those bullpens that are in play. Seen a lot of guys trip over those pens.
Why not create retractable mounds so we can have the unique look of the mounds down the line? Keep the pitchers out in the open so we don't have to guess, and then you just hit a button, and when you're using it, the mound's up, and when you're not, it goes down. We have technology for that, don't we?
Yes, hydraulics it's called.
Let's do it.
Okay. Or we could just shield them.
No, he's pitching Sunday.
And put them in other places. So outfielders wouldn't have to run over them, and you don't have to put in hydraulics.
But it's better for the fans. They get the chance to see who's warming up.
Really?
Yeah, they're out in the open instead of sometimes the clandestine indoors, gotta have a camera, subterranean bullpens that you see nowadays.
So you think besides the Kolarek family, you had a lot of fans that were screaming for Kolarek and they wanted to see him loosening up in the 2nd?
I think that some people are a little bit low on their Kolarek intake.
And they want more of him?
Yeah.
Like more cowbell?
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for drawing that parallel. 2-2. Into center field. Kiermaier's back on it, and he catches everything. 2 down. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your home team throughout the season and the official mortgage provider of the Chicago White Sox. Get started today at rate.com. We thank you for joining us tonight. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti, wherever you may be, as the White Sox are in Tampa for 3. At this lovely venue, multi-purpose venue, Tropicana Field. So the baseball writer Joe Sheehan had somebody tweet at him earlier today suggesting that Yoan Moncada has had an extremely tough season, and do you think he's going to live up to potential? And whatever the tweet said, I'm paraphrasing, but Joe responded by saying he's age 23, he's in his first year, and he's basically a league average player right now. Joe followed that up with a tweet about making sure that as you're watching somebody's development, if they're not immediately Mike Trout, that maybe it's worthwhile to give it a little bit.
I think you have to go with that philosophy with all players.
Ground ball to third, and Duffy has a 1-2-3 inning for Kolarek. Bottom 3 next. Grab a ride on the boat. Come along with us, mateys. Xfinity X1 customers say, show me the Chicago White Sox into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. You saw the Ray tank they have here in the outfield and right center field. A ball went in there just a couple of days ago. Cole Calhoun of the Angels sent one splashing down to visit with the Rays, which in the past PETA has been rather displeased about. They feel like it's a grave danger to the Rays who are here.
They don't like that at all.
No, Miguel Cabrera. No, they don't. No. Miguel Cabrera hit one in there about 5 years ago, and PETA suggested that the Ray tank be closed. They did not win. However, Cole Calhoun's ball a couple of days ago may reinvigorate that debate if they care to. We'll see. The idea is that as there's strike 3 on Wendell, the idea is fans can come here and get a chance to see the Rays and pet them. The stingers have been taken off. It's a neat little science opportunity for the kids. You can see kids love it.
They do. I think minus stinger is the key factor there.
Yeah, well, there'd be waivers if otherwise.
Yep.
I know you've been to the Shed Aquarium.
Oh, I'm a huge aquatic guy.
You're part of the Life Aquatic.
Right up there, yeah.
As people go, they have a Ray tank there where you can go and you pet the Rays, and you don't realize that they're going to have sort of like a hairy feel to go along with the slimy.
Can't beat that.
No, you can't.
Hairy and slimy
Sounds
both?
like, well.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good to me. Where do you sign up for that?
It's a different tactile experience.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Two strikes on Perez, and a high fastball does him in for strike 3, and 2 down here in the third.
3 strikeouts for Lucas, and things going very well for him as he throws some high heat. Throws it right by him. So he's faced the minimum. Not a whole lot of offense in the early going here.
No, we're short on hits. Slimy and hairy, just like your old booth.
You can't beat that. That's what it is. Very nice.
You've never pet a Ray? Petted one?
Well, I tried not to.
But you did.
No.
Oh, I thought maybe you brushed up against Rolando Orojo once.
No.
Strike on Malik Smith, who was 6 for 11 against the Sox in that first series back in April during that first homestand.
He had just about everything in sight. Had just a wonderful series. And still that batting average is over 290, so he's put together a very solid season for them. Excellent speed. Doesn't have a whole lot of power, but he's a line drive hitter with a lot of speed.
Moncada throws him out, and no need to deal with the fleet of foot Malik Smith. Very quickly, Giolito takes the stingers off the 7, 8, 9 hitters.
Loop, special guest Rick Hahn talks about the team's present and future. Visit NBCSportsChicago.com/podcast to subscribe today.
Heard through the grapevine that Rick Hahn was terrific last night.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Cannot divulge my source, but it's Chuck Garfien.
It's a good thing you didn't say that.
Yeah.
Or people would be on him.
Very fortunate for Chuck. Duffy, Sanchez's counterpart, playing in at third. And now 1-1 on Yolmer. Heard there was a post-podcast karaoke as well with a live band, so you never know what you're going to get at the live White Sox Talk podcast. So Stanek goes 1 2/3, strikes out 5. Kolarek comes in, and he's gone 1 1/3 to this point. Two and two. Yolmer has seen a lot of changeups this year.
Well, that's going to happen when you get off to the kind of start that he got off to. He was up close to 300 there for a while, and he's been settling down. His pitchers have started to throw a lot more off-speed pitches to him.
High fastball. 7 strikeout for Rays pitching. And here's your Sox Math question for tonight. Hashtag Sox Math. First correct answer wins a prize from the road. Polka's jersey number multiplied by pinch hit homers he has this year, plus the letters in his college team's nickname, minus the number of letters in his home state. Daniel Polka all the time on Sox Math this evening. We may send you, I don't know, something from the Ray tank.
There's no telling what it could possibly be.
We'll never tell you, in fact.
Won't be hairy and slimy, though.
Ball and no strikes on Jose. Now down low, 2-0. Jose up to 32 doubles, which is 16 away from the all-time franchise record in one season that Albert Bell holds from 20 years ago. And Jose recently, last 3 weeks, has just crushed the baseball. Hardest hard hit rate since July 13th. He is 4th in Major League Baseball.
We felt it would take one at bat. We saw that at bat. It happened on the road trip, and Jose has been swinging it really well since then.
Right side, base hit. We talked about it. Ricky Renteria talked about it. Jose even talked about it. He felt like he had to do just about everything. He was like a one-man band in the offense is how he was treating his at-bats and overdoing it.
Well, there's no doubt when the team is not doing a whole lot offensively and you're the leading run producer, as Jose is, you have a tendency to take everything on your own shoulders. Consequently, your plate goes from 17 inches to 24 inches and the batting average starts to sink. So that's what happened with him, and then he got to the feeling where finally you just swing at strikes. He knows he can hit. That's not a debatable issue. He's always been able to hit. So the fact that he wasn't this year, you knew he'd come out of it, just a question of when. This was a little bit longer than he would have liked, however. Saw that batting average sneak down to right around 250, which for him is strange territory.
Could be 2. Wendell to turn and not caught. Crone was not able to make the catch.
We'll see if that comes back to haunt the Tampa Ball Club, because that should have been 2 and out of the inning. It was not. The inning stays alive. It's not an error. That one should have been caught. It was not.
It was a late step toward the ball by Crone.
I mean, sometimes you get locked into a situation where you can't reach across and get it in time, and so That's going to be it. And we're going to the pen again. Boy, is Lakeside Bank happy. We'll step out. Be back after these messages. Schultz. He comes into this ball game. He inherits one runner at first base. On for the 9th time. His ERA at 3.65. You see a lot of young pitchers, but the 19 strikeouts and 12 1/3 jumps out at you, as does the opponent's 105 batting average.
He had Tommy John surgery 8 years ago, Jamie Schultz, who's from the Albany area. And his velocity actually went up after the surgery. Started throwing 98, 99 at that point.
One of the reasons for that is that velocity comes from the shoulder. So Tommy John surgery is going to maybe give you a little more life on the fastball. It's not going to affect the velocity at all. And in the case, maybe the rest in the rehab from the Tommy John probably did his shoulder a whole lot of good, and you come back with more velocity. But that's not really all that surprising.
95 for a strike. He settled into that 95-96 range after touching around 99 after the surgery. And Avi takes a stroll. Fouled away. See our success probability. Hanging around with Daniel Palco over there at first base. Not only will we give you the lead at first, we'll tell you how likely it is he would steal a bag.
That takes into consideration the catcher's arm strength, the time it takes the pitcher to deliver the ball, and the speed of Polka. And 15 other things that we can't tell you about because it's proprietary information.
One of those 15 things is that was a lie.
That's true too. We have no information that belongs to anybody but the world.
What's ours is yours here on White Sox TV. 1-2 on Avi from Schultz. Breaking ball, he laid off. So the success probability growing with every step. 69% with an 11-foot lead. He does not go. It's a 0% chance he steals the base. So 3-2 on Avi. Polka will run here with 2 out and a 3-2 count.
So how about a no % probability of stealing a base?
That's if you're anchored to the bag. Ball 4. First walk for the Sox in this game. 2 on, 2 out for Narvaez. Omar's found himself now rising in the batting order. We saw him yesterday in the 5 spot. He's 6 today.
Continues to do what he's been doing. He's going to be ever closer to the top.
Former Sox Rule 5 pick from Tampa Bay. Polka at second, Avi at first. And ball 1. And now we'll have a meeting at the mound. So the more relievers you use in a game, the bigger chance that you're going to run into one who has less control than you might like. And it seems as though Schultz is in that category right now. One and 0 on Omar. Fouled away, 1-1. Polka at second, Garcia at first.
Omar's been pulling the ball a lot more lately, and there's a huge gap in right center field. There you see it. Kiermaier is around toward left center drastically. In fact, Kiermaier is way over there. He and Luke Bowers could pretty much shake hands with one another.
1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, those charts may have been from months ago, not currently.
Well, lately, Omar's been driving the ball to right center field.
Two and 2.
Let's take a look at StatCast AI powered by AWS. And it is a left-hander on the mound and the double down the line. Turns it on, and 168 feet of fair ball turns into a double.
That was a missile inside. Omar stayed alive on a pretty good pitch.
Good fastball right in on his hands. He was able to spoil it.
"13 pitches to 2 batters from Schultz. Just clipped foul. Omar continues the at bat. He'll see an 8th pitch.
Well, he's had some very long at bats. Not a guy that's real easy to strike out.
It was a 7-pitch walk for Garcia. Now a 7-pitch at bat for Narvaez, with Leori Garcia next. Three and 2. Smoke to right field, but Smith is there. 2 stranded for the Sox in the 4th. June the 11th have been gangbusters, world beaters, 20-4, plus 45 run differentials, so some close games baked in there, and a 2.45 ERA. That includes 2 of 3 against the Yankees just after the All-Star break. 2 of those losses were against the Marlins right after the break before the Yankees came into town. Rays took 3 of 4 from Houston in late June and early July.
That's a good trick.
Yeah, it sure is. Giolito faced the minimum through 3. And now he spins in a strike on Kiermaier. It's a multi-purpose facility, as we talked about. They had the Davis Cup here at one point. They had the Lightning playing their home games here before the new place was built. The 1999 Final Four was here. Connecticut over Duke.
And apparently a broken glove for Omar. Looks like something has gone wrong. He needs a new one.
Hopefully your Friday night in the glove department is going better.
And all of a sudden the glove just kind of falls apart.
This is the first Rays hit. Kiermaier drops it in, and he has a leadoff single in the 4th.
It's unusual to see Kiermaier with a batting average below 200, but that's been the case. He's had an injury-plagued year. In fact, the last couple of years for him has seen a lot of injuries. When healthy, still one of the best center fielders in all of baseball, but that batting average is problematic. He is a good base stealer, however, won't hesitate to run. This is a good combination for him. Lucas has had his problems holding down base runners, and Kiermaier has swiped 7, been caught just once.
Tampa Bay 68 as a team. That's 6th in baseball. And there's a throw on him. Kiermaier is so good in the field. He only played 105 games 2 years ago and still won a Gold Glove.
He's just outstanding, and that wasn't any kind of a lead at all. He's trying to force Lucas into showing him his best move to first base. Now he gets a little bit bigger lead off of first.
He does not run, and there's a strike on Duffy. Matt Duffy's been swinging it effectively. He is on a 5-game hit streak, 8 for his last 22. There goes Kiermaier. Throw down to second and out.
One of the better throws all year by Omar as he gunned it down there and cut him down. That was a good throw. This wasn't much of a jump by Kiermaier, but a great throw by Omar. I mean, it's right there. Now the question is, did the hand get in before the tag? And Kiermaier wants him to take a look at it. He believes that the hand did.
First look at the replay, I think it did too.
Well, he tagged him on the hip. Plenty of room for the hand to get in there before it. It was a great throw. And now they'll take a look at it in New York and see if the call can be overturned. The call by Jerry Meals.
In a scoreless game, this is a big play.
It's a huge play.
Watch the tag by Moncada. Does he get him on the arm there first? The question is, does he graze him, and is there enough evidence to overturn? There's a chance he grazed him on that first swipe. Didn't look like it, but again, you need indisputable video evidence here to overturn the call on the field.
Kiermaier shaking his head. He doesn't believe that he was tagged, but of course that's an interested spectator talking like that.
It is an out. Almost guaranteed it will say call stands instead of confirmed when we get the report. Again, you don't have to hit him with the whole glove. You just have to catch a piece of his arm.
And it was a call stand,
Yeah.
so that's one of those things they couldn't find enough proof to overturn.
And there's no drop dead moment on the replay, but at some point you do have to say we don't have it,
Right.
and let's play.
Let's play on. But that turned out to be a huge call.
1-2. Slider for strike 3. Fourth punch out for Giolito.
Lucas is throwing it real well tonight, and this is a late breaking hard slider. Looked like a strike when it left his hands, but Duffy, who's a good hitter, missed this one by plenty.
2 out for Jake Bauers. Plan was to have Bauers be joined at points in the outfield by Tommy Pham, who came over here from the Cardinals, but Pham had a breaking ball hit himself in the foot, and so he's on the DL with a break.
That was a really unusual trade. You can understand all of the other trades they made because they were trading for a good piece of the future, trading away current assets for down the road, but that was not the case in the Pham deal. That was kind of surprising, especially as far back as they are. Tommy Pham, a good solid player with St. Louis, and now finds his way here and now on the disabled list, so that didn't work out in any way that Tampa wanted.
You know, he's 30 years old. He does still have some team control because he made his way to the majors late. But it's an interesting deal, and the Archer deal too, considering what they did with Garrett Cole in the offseason. But understand that is part about team control as well, as Bauers takes a 2-out walk. Here's a list of all those moves that we showed you a little bit earlier, and they do kind of jive until you get to the one with Pham.
Right, because at 30 years old, you've got a really wonderful center fielder in Kiermaier, so Pham is not going to play there, although that's where he was playing with St. Louis. And he's not one of those guys that you're going to look at because you're going to be in contention next year, because you don't know if you're going to be, especially with Boston and New York, the kind of ball clubs they are and how they reload.
Stolen base here for Bauers on the first pitch, and it wasn't a fastball, so a great pitch to run on for Bauers for stolen base number 4.
He's 4 or 5 now in the stolen base department, and that one was rather easy.
Ripped third base side and foul.
And Lucas has got a couple pitches down to Crone, and both of them he's hit awfully hard. One was a line out to left field. That's how he got him out in the second inning, and that one fortunately was well fouled. You just don't want to mess around downstairs with him.
Breaking ball was up and grounded to shortstop. Anderson for out number 3. There will be a run at some point tonight, just not yet.
prospects Eloy Jimenez and Michael Kopech as the Charlotte Knights take on the Durham Bulls. Coverage begins at 4, and you can stream the game on the NBC Sports app.
AAA version of this game. It's AAA Tampa versus AAA Sox. Eloy, by the way, is 2 for 2 in tonight's game against Durham.
That's all he's done?
I know. He's got a double. He's driven in a run. Is that enough for you?
Not yet.
Garcia, Delmonico, and Anderson coming up. First pitch on Leori. Draws a check swing and nothing more. Jose Rondon 1 for 3 tonight. Sebi Zavala 1 for 2, the catcher. Ryan Lamar 1 for 2, has averaged nearly 300 with AAA Charlotte. Good to see him playing. The official logo of Sox minor leaguers yesterday was the tarp, with Winston-Salem having a doubleheader not postponed but canceled. They just bagged it. Those games will never be made up. Kannapolis got some rain, so did Charlotte. That's why you get a dome.
And it moved up to Washington because they got postponed tonight. Their game with the Cincinnati Reds.
How about that story the other day about Sean Kelly, the Nats reliever who gave up the home run late in that 25-4 game, spiked his glove on the ground, and Mike Rizzo said it's unbecoming of a Nationals player, and they designated him for assignment.
Yep.
Took him off the roster. There had to have been something else there, right?
I have no idea.
Seems a little extreme.
One never knows. The backstory.
Only the shadow knows.
The backstory of that.
It's a long night for everybody.
You're not kidding.
Mets broadcast was reading the media guide.
And the pen up and going again. Austin Pruitt.
Nicky in the air, left center field. And Kiermaier with the catch for out number 1. You have to wait for the thing to dodge the catwalk here. Polka's jersey number is 18, 3 pinch hit homers. That's 54 plus 13 for Yellow Jackets, minus 13 for South Carolina. 54 is your answer. Riles 23 was in first. All Daniel Polka trivia on Sox Math tonight. And rightfully so after the tater he hit late yesterday. I love the approach. He said after the game, I was looking 100% home run. All I wanted was a ball that I could hit out of the ballpark.
He got one of those. Looked like a breaking ball. It was middle out. And it was gone.
Daniel Polka, once his major league career is over and his professional career is over, is just going to be a disaster to face in beer league softball. Garcia runs center field. Kiermaier loads up a throw to first, and it is not in time.
And that's why you have to pick up the baseball as quickly as you possibly can, because sometimes when you're going to be running, you run with your ears as well as your eyes. So when you hear contact, you try to identify where the baseball is. Leary was able to find it right away and hustle back to the bag. Just barely beat the throw of Kiermaier. So a fine throw by Kiermaier. Gets rid of it very quickly. It's right on the money, but Leary with a good piece of base running gets back and keeps the inning alive.
And remember, even if the Rays wanted to challenge that play and had reason to, they're out of challenges for this game after the failed one on the stolen base attempt. So here's Moncada with Garcia at first. We told you that some people have been doing comparison shopping on Moncada, and you look at the batting average and it's a little bit lower than you'd like, and the strikeout number is a little higher than you'd like. But Chris Kamka had some interesting numbers that he tweeted yesterday, our stat guru, the stat beard. Kamka, you look at Moncada compared to Baez, first 162 major league games, equal slugging percentage. Moncada better on base percentage and walk rate. Strikeouts a little bit higher, but very similar for a guy considered now to be one of the stars of the game. Throw to second, and Garcia is apprehended. So Moncada will lead off in the bottom of the fifth. Podcast last night we told you about Chuck was evidently doing karaoke.
Two American kids growing up in the heartland. Jack gonna be a football star. Diane David comes like Cedar, Jackie's car.
John Cougar Garfine replaced in the studio because of this by Layla after this. You appreciate it. We'll leave the karaoke to Chuck as Choi leads off and takes ball number one. Ji-Man Choi, who when he was with the Angels, this is before his time with the Brewers, when he was with the Angels, the team stayed at the Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee, which has been said to have been haunted in the past.
There's a couple of haunted hotels.
That's true, and he ends up here where the visiting hotel is rather haunted as well, we've heard. But Choi, it was like 7 years ago, he felt, as he was sleeping, he felt something on his chest that woke him up, and then the bed slumped, he said. And then another time, he felt a hug while he was sleeping in his single room. First base, Abreu. Beautiful play. Out number one.
Good effort by Jose, and nice job of Lucas to get over there in plenty of time. This ball hit awfully hard, but Jose is right there. And plenty of time to make the play.
One down for Robertson, who grounded into a double play last time. You believe in haunted hotels?
I don't think it's a question of believing in them. I haven't had any visitors, but yeah, I assume that there's a spirit or two there.
You do?
I would think so.
So it's not even a question for you?
No. I sent them to your room, by the way.
It's very nice of you.
Yeah.
The reason you don't question is because you speak to them.
Yeah.
Among other things. Not only do you call pitches before they happen, but you actually talk to ghosts, which goes with the territory.
Only on occasion.
Fits with the motif, as they say. Two and 0. That sails outside. 3 balls and no strikes. Robertson, offensively and defensively, has had a very nice year for this Tampa Bay team.
As has Wendell, who you're looking at there. Joey Wendell has been a nice player for them.
They've patched together 56 and 53, which is still in play for the wild card. They'd have to make up some ground. They're 7.5 back. starting play today. Anderson to the backhand side, uncorks another beauty. Out number 2.
Tim just keeps getting better and better on those plays where he has to drift to his right, catch the ball in the hole, and get it across in time. He's been working on this, you can tell, because these real easy flips are always right in the neighborhood. And Jose able to make the play. Tim's got a very strong arm. He doesn't choose to use it all the time. Probably used one more step than he needed there, but got it over in plenty of time to get him.
The accuracy is too consistent for it not to be the cause of work, is what you're saying.
Right, and that's, you know, he was working a lot on the backhand. Those aren't necessarily difficult backhanded plays, but the throw is difficult, and the off-balance nature of it compounds it, but he's right there with every throw. He can Wendell out easily last time, and Wendell's had some tough at-bats.
Yeah, a couple guys who have been really tough outs this year in this lineup. It'll work at bats. See a lot of pitches. Duffy, one of them. Bowers, who drew a walk back in the 4th, another. He let that fade outside. 2-1. Shift is on. Anderson for out number 3. Trio of ground balls for Giolito. Still nothing on the board. Monday, August 6th for Game of Thrones night as the Sox take on the Yankees at 7:10 p.m. Get your tickets at whitesox.com today.
You a big fan of that?
The Throne or the show?
The show.
You know what? I've never seen it, which I know is kind of off-brand for me.
It really is. I'm shocked.
I don't think you're the only one who's shocked.
I know.
Yeah. When two of your hallmarks are you wear glasses and you tell bad puns, people just assume Game of Thrones. Yeah. There's a strike 0-2 on Moncada, who was at the plate when Garcia was thrown out at second in the 5th.
This is going to shock you, but the Tampa bullpen is working again.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Thank goodness I can see it because it's out in the open air.
You can without the hydraulics.
Up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Moncada. There is Jose Alvarado, one of 4 lefties in the Rays bullpen. If you count everybody who could be a relief pitcher, they have 12. That's a called strike 3 on Moncada. 8th strikeout for Tampa Bay pitching. It's notable yesterday on the called strike 3s against Moncada. Quite a few of them were in the same spot.
They were down, and he kept taking them, and they kept calling him. He got rung up 4 different times yesterday.
And there have been times this year where Moncada has not gotten the benefit of a call, but yesterday those balls were pretty much all in the zone.
And that's 151 strikeouts in just under 400 at bats.
Two 2-0 on Sanchez, who had that homer off the catwalk last year. Still with his 9 triples this season, 35 extra base hits.
A good time for another one of those. Not by using the catwalk, however.
That's our random Sox leaderboard, by the way. Tonight it is most home runs at Tropicana Field. Paulie with 10 of them, including that romp around the bases. He's still sucking wind a little bit as he crosses home. Maglio's second, Jim Thome third. Avi on the board as well. Frank hit one off the catwalk a bunch of years ago. 3-2. Schultz just missed. Nice take by Sanchez. Saw Perez was really mad as he snapped the ball out of his glove. And it's a 1-out walk for Sanchez. It's up to Abreu, who singled to right in the 4th. That was against Kolarek, the left-hander, the second pitcher used in the game for Tampa Bay.
Big gap this time is in left center field as Kiermaier shading toward right center just a couple of steps. And on a drive to left center field, as much room as there is there, Yolmer scores pretty easily from first base, you would assume.
Nearly hit Abreu. 1 ball, 1 strike. Game number 1 between the Sox and Rays. Game 2 tomorrow, 5:10 start time. Carlos Rodon on the mound. And an interesting day on Sunday. James Shields scheduled to start. The Rays this weekend and throughout the year are celebrating the 2008 team. Sox certainly would rather not be here for that, but it's good fortune for James that they decided to do it then. That's a dart to left field. Bowers goes back. It's gone. In a heartbeat, Abreu gives the Sox a 2-0 lead.
Jose continues his torrid pace as he hits his 18th. He's now driven in 62, and that's the first scoring of the ball game. A line drive rocket. Didn't have a chance to get up too high, and that is the first scoring. This is a slider down. It was on the inner portion, and Jose gets most of it. Our 4th home run replay. And a great way to kick off the scoring.
Remember, it was 3 months ago, Lucas Giolito was pitching in St. Louis. The Sox and Cardinals went through 5 scoreless. Then the Cardinals scored in the 6th on the Carlos Martinez home run. And flipped that today with the Sox scoring in the 6th to give Giolito some room. One. Daniel mad at himself on that swing. 1-2.
He went upstairs to try to get that one way out of the zone and no contact.
Fouled straight back. Still 1-2. Off the home run from Abreu, 111.9 miles an hour. Just a laser off his bat. You don't want to miss middle in on a slider that's spinning.
Not these days. Maybe a month ago you could have, but now you can't.
Called strike 3 on the edge. 2 gone in the 6th. Celebrate a memorable moment and player in White Sox history with the A.J. Pierzynski limited edition blackout game bobblehead with real hair. Proceeds benefit Make-A-Wish Illinois and Chicago White Sox charities. Get yours at section 135 or at whitesox.com/AJBobble. Okay, so it's not truly real hair, but it feels like it.
It does.
Two down for Avi. We told you his slugging percentage came in best on the team at .511. He's 0 for 1 with a walk. Now down to .508 as we play here in the 6th. And you know, batting average 300 is very good. That's what you're aiming for. But what's good for slugging percentage? League average is .410. Sox average a little bit below that. Avi's #1 for the Sox. Bowers for the Rays. Best this decade for the Sox. Paulie at .584 in 2010. So that's just a little primer for what actually doubles is good for slugging percentage. That's why things like ERA plus and OPS plus are easier to use than some of the other new stats, because the average is 100. And it's across the board. The average is 100. If you're above it, you're above average. If you're below it, you're below average. And that's what people are using now more and more to compare across eras and be able to say, okay, well, what did somebody from the 60s statistically look like in that environment compared to now? Robertson for round number 3. The scoreless tie is no more. Abreu with a missile to left field. No catwalks were harmed in the filming of this home run. 2-zip Sox. Lucas Giolito, 5 innings deep, has allowed just 1 hit. That was a single for Kiermaier in the 4th. 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. And the 8 batter, Michael Perez, takes a strike. Catcher who came over from the Diamondbacks organization has a hit in every one of his games so far with Tampa Bay.
And a pretty good throwing arm, as we've seen tonight.
Wilson Ramos was a starting catcher for this team, but he's been shuttled away in a deal right around the deadline. First base side, Abreu is having quite the inning. Giolito covers 1 down. And for Lucas, it's time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile.
Lucas's night has been pretty good so far. He's gotten the fastball exactly where he wants it.
Strikes on Perez.
Both the slider and the
fat
curveball have been very good. The straight change has been there on occasion. But everything looking awfully good for Lucas tonight. And he's got the lead.
Ground ball city for Giolito tonight. Only one of his outs has been in the outfield. It's a key out because of the peril Malik Smith provides on the base path. You can draw your attention away from the inning.
And you got the man coming up next with the only hit of the night, Kevin Kiermaier.
A little bit high on the curveball. This Tampa Bay offense is top 10 in baseball, number 8 in on-base percentage, and 10th in batting average. So a solid offensive team that Giolito is holding down so far.
They just don't hit the ball out of the ballpark very much. C.J. Cron with 22. That's a team leader. They did get Tommy Pham, who had 14 in the National League. His 14 will go on the disabled list. Nobody else on the ball club is in double figures.
(3-1). Tell you what, Ramon De Jesus behind the plate, and we've not seen him a lot here in the majors. He's had a very consistent night in the strike zone.
Nobody has looked back at all. I mean, literally, you find not one hitter has looked back and questioned any of the calls to this point, and we're more than halfway through the game. So Ramon has done a nice job.
Three and two for Malik Smith. Fouled away. First major league game for Malik Smith. He was trying to steal second base. His helmet fell off, bounced into the dirt, and then hit him in the forehead.
That's probably not a good thing.
But it speaks to exactly how he plays the game. When he's on base, he's going to try and steal. And sometimes you're rather unfortunate when you do that.
He will do that.
Ball four. And Smith, who attempted 5 steals in the first series against the Sox, is on. Enjoy your summer nights at the park with Bleachers and Brews. 1 bleacher seat, 2 beers, just $22 to select upcoming games. You got to be 21 and over with a valid ID. Bleachers and Brews, presented by Budweiser. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com/brews.
So for Smith, 20 steals. He's been caught 8 times.
3 of those by the Sox.
And Tampa Bay has swiped 68 of them. Make it 69 with the Bauers stolen base tonight.
There he goes. In the air, left-hand side. Delmonico for round number 2.
You don't mind seeing that with a real fast guy on first base.
He had second.
It was a good jump, but he picked up the baseball right away and got back in. At least we thought he did.
Looked like he was, but they're going to call him out over at first. Sox delayed off the field, but we'll take it. Inning over. Did not retouch second base as he passed it. Take a look at that final step. He steps off the bag, never kicks the bag again, and a great find by the Sox and the umpiring crew.
And it goes as a 7-6 double play. So Smith didn't retouch the bag. He is out, and a double play ends the inning as Austin Pruitt comes in the ball game out for the 20th time. His ERA up close to 5. He inherits a 2-0 deficit.
Pruitt replaces Schultz. And Omar looks at ball 1. Jamie Schultz, 2 1/3. He gave up 1 hit. Created 2 earned runs. That home run from Abreu, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Schultz out, Pruitt in. And 2-0. We were just talking about how great of a job DeJesus has done behind the plate, and that is a very nice find over at second base as well by Jerry Meals and the crew.
Yeah, just saying, I mean, he missed it ever so slightly at second base, but he did miss it.
Crew chief Jerry Meals. It's not easy to do.
Nope.
Right in position, made the call, and the inning came to an end. Up high, 3-1 to Omar. Quiet night for the offenses in the series opener between the Rays and the Sox. Omar's former organization.
Only been 4 hits combined. Sox have 3 of the hits, and just that lone hit by Kiermaier. the only hit by Tampa.
Kiermaier in center is there. Round number 1 as we open up the Sox vault and see what newspaper stories, artifacts, what we find behind the big old door. It's Ron LeFleur. A couple of years with the Sox, 173 games, 64 steals. And the question was, in spring training, will he be a necessity for the Sox? Ron Kittle and Tom Paciorek, last season's first baseman. Possibility out in left field. LeFleur was there for a couple of years, and now his cousin, Todd Steverson, in the Sox dugout as the hitting coach. There's Todd Steverson taking in the ball game. Abreu providing his offense 2 runs. Todd Steverson, former manager in the A's minor league system. Check swing, ball low, and that is strike 3. Garcia punches out. 2 down. MLB at Bat, your #1 White Sox app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get White Sox home screen icons and features like the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Two gone for Nicky. Left field. Bowers is there. A couple of well-struck baseballs yield nothing for the Sox, and it's stretch time. 2-zip. Experiences from Chicago White Sox games to amazing concerts and shows you don't want to miss. StubHub, your ticket out. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago White Sox. Matt Duffy, Jake Bowers, C.J. Cron, the opposition for Giolito, just 77 pitches in through 6.
This is 3rd time through the order, and this should be a little more difficult. The boys have seen him twice. They know exactly how everything is moving. Lucas, however, has been in command since he started this game. He's walked 3, given up just the 1 hit, and thrown just about everything where he wants it.
Just off the plate, 2-1. Major League batting average, third time against a pitcher is 269. That's up 27 points from the first time through. Very close, didn't get the call. The slugging percentage is up 70 points from the first time through to the third time through. That's across Major League Baseball for the year. 3-1. He didn't want to pull the trigger, and that's a sign that Duffy's still uncomfortable.
That was a 3-1 fastball. It had the whole zone, and yet he still didn't see it real well, so the stuff looks like it's still pretty good.
Payoff. In the air, right field. Avi's underneath, and one gone. Let's take you back in White Sox history, all the way back to the early days of both Burley and the Rays. The Devil Rays at the time. Mark Burley, a one-hit shutout against such luminaries as Damian Rolls, Randy Wynn, and Steve Cox. There's Rolls, who had the only hit in the game.
Mark looked like he was 12 there, however.
How about that?
Yeah, very young.
By the way, that's just prototypical Burley. 2 hours, 12 minutes.
I'm surprised it took that long.
He only struck
he
out
did give
3.
up one hit, though.
It's true.
Yeah.
Too much traffic
That was it.
for it to be under 2 hours. It's just hard to fathom anybody like him again in the way this game has changed for starting pitchers. In pace. In total unassuming personality.
Well, that's one of the things that you're going to be hard pressed to find, a star pitcher who doesn't believe he is, and that's pretty much
right.
what pretty much describes Mark Burley.
One and two. That's outside. 2-2 from Lucas to Bowers, who has an extra base hit in 4 straight. He's yet to put a ball in play. The rookie left fielder tonight for the Rays. 2-2 is a grenade, and it clipped him. So Bowers is on, and Crone comes up.
You get hit on a hop or you get hit. It's still the same thing. You wind up at first base, and he got hit on a hop. And the last thing you wanted to do was face Crone as the tying run. But that's what you're stuck with.
This team has been plunked with the best of them in Major League Baseball. The Rays, coming into play tonight, had been hit 10 more times than any other club. You wonder if they're taking bad tap lessons.
Our ball club's been hit 44 times. They've been hit 71 times.
And it's wild.
That's a lot of bruises.
You're going to hit 3 times a week. Sounds like somebody's got one of those vuvuzelas.
2 of them. What are they?
The horns from the World Cup a bunch of years ago.
Those. Oh, yes, of course.
The long horns.
They're from Texas.
Ball and no strikes on Crone.
Bowers does have the stolen base tonight. That's just his 4th of the year.
We would suggest, by the way, if you're starting a 2-piece band, you get something other than vuvuzela and cowbell. It doesn't exactly have the complete harmonic range you're looking for. One ball, no strikes on Crone. Bowers doesn't run. It's a pitch upstairs that swung through. That's fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You saw the bubble gum that Crone was chewing. There was a story out of Cincinnati just yesterday. Eugenio Suarez blew this giant bubble with the gum that he had. And evidently the Guinness World Record holder for largest bubble gum bubble has reached out to the Reds. He wants to meet Suarez. So you never know. You've already made it at one stage in Major League Baseball. You never know who's watching. That's strike 3, and it was not close. Giolito coerces the swing, and C.J. Crone is out number 2.
Good sharp breaking slider, threw it well out of the zone, and Crone expanded that zone by a wide margin. Goes down on strikes. First time he struck out tonight. That's 111 for the year.
Two down for Choi. He takes a strike. We talked about it early. Fastball command being so important for Lucas, and he's been pretty spot on today.
He's been able to throw the fastball inside to the left-handers as well as he's done all year long. That's not easy for a right-hand pitcher because sometimes has a tendency to drift back out over the plate. Lucas tonight has not had that particular problem.
In for a strike, 0-2.
Good straight change, been throwing that for strikes also.
In the dirt and around Choi. Sox could really do some damage to the Rays' faint playoff hopes. They're 3 games over. Oakland came into the day 8 games ahead of 500 with a half-game lead on Seattle for that second wild card spot. Bowers at first. That's strike 3. Middle, gut shot, strike, and Choi dispatched. Around Major League Baseball next. The answer, Maikel Franco of the Phillies. There it goes. 3-run home run. And watch the bat flip after he jumps on home. Look at, hit himself in the head. Come on.
Tough sport. You never know when you're likely to get the handle of your bat stuck in your cranium.
Strange things happen in celebrations. Okay, we just talked about Kendrys Morales. I still get queasy thinking about people hopping on home plate like he did. We're doomed to repeat history, Steve.
That was a bad one. I mean, that affected his career, the rest of his career.
That was on par with Bill Gramatica, the NFL kicker.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the Gramatica that hurt himself in the celebration, or was it Martine? I think it was Bill.
I'm not sure which one.
Bill.
Bill? Just plain Bill?
Just Bill.
Yeah.
But he was celebrating a kick.
Yes, he was.
And he tore himself up.
He did that.
So if the Sox win, just keep your seat, okay?
I'm going to try my best. Although, this is a good one tonight.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
Well-pitched game.
Lucas has been magnificent.
Against the Hall of Pitchers from Tampa Bay. Curveball clipped foul. Giolito, 7 innings, and he wants some more. He's going to potassium up during this top of the 8th.
Late game banana. You never know.
Always a smart strategy, the late game banana. Evidently not as tasty as he hoped.
Got to avoid the peel. It's a little bitter.
One and two on Anderson. Short center field. Wendell's back. Kiermaier's on, and Kevin Kiermaier is so sleek on this carpet. Out number 1.
Got a long way to go to get this, and you would have been thinking that Wendell Robertson, somebody, but when you have a guy with the skill level of Kevin Kiermaier, you just allow him to come get it, and he does just that. It's a very active uniform tonight for Kiermaier, who's been diving all over the place.
With the artificial surface, rarely do you see a uniform that dirty in this ballpark, but all over the base path. He had a single for the Rays in the 4th inning. He's caught stealing. One of the greats.
And can really play center field.
Yeah, one of the best defenders in baseball. Yep. Kevin Kiermaier. Moncada watches a strike. Breaking ball in the dirt, 1-2. Robertson, Wendell, and Perez scheduled up for the Rays in the 8th inning after banana for Giolito. Looks like he's just about done with his in-game snack. You ever eat in-game when you were pitching?
I did not.
Ever?
No.
Why not? Could boost your vitamin C.
Or your potassium level.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fight off in-game antibodies.
Well, certainly could have done that.
Prone at first for round number 2. Have you seen guys do it before, though?
Sure.
On your team?
Sure.
Was there anyone who stands out as a big-time eater on your teams?
Not that I can recall.
Would like eat potato salad in between innings?
Yeah, like cheese sandwich or something like that? No. Don't remember much of that.
Uh-huh. Probably smart. 2 down for Sanchez. 7 in a row retired by the Rays staff since the Abreu homer. Former Tampa Bay pitcher Chris Archer has been bounced by the Cardinals after 4 1/3 tonight. He gave up 7 hits, 4 earned runs. He walked 4 in his Pirates debut. Served foul left side.
That one went over the Sox bullpen into the seats. And some very happy fans with a young lady getting a souvenir. Hopped right over the Sox dugout.
Little patio area over there.
Nice place to watch a game.
Yeah. Get yourself a high top. We should do a game from there.
In a couple of years.
1-2.
Second trip in.
Yeah, I figured. The 12th of never.
There's the patio area. Ideal for when you've just returned from Mozambique.
That's when you'll do it?
Yep.
Right after your trip
Right.
to continental Africa?
Something like that.
1-2 on Sanchez. Breaking ball clipped the corner. That ball just barely rode the rail. And we'll play bottom 8. 2-zip Sox. Layla, thank you very much. Sox still have the lead 2-0, and Lucas Giolito going for his longest outing of his career, which was 7 1/3 on July the 8th at Houston in that 2-1 loss. He gave up just 2 earned runs in that game and has a shutout so far this evening. 95 pitches as he goes for Robertson with strike 1.
Well, the keys for Lucas tonight, he's been ahead of just about each and every one of these hitters.
And when he's been behind, typically he's given up a walk. Chase Fry getting loose. First time we've seen the Sox bullpen in use tonight. One. Wasted away foul. 1-2. One and two for Robertson. That one is well struck through the infield. Garcia gets over there quickly. Throw into second is late. And Robertson head first for the double.
Robertson knew that Leary was going away from the throw. He was heading to his right. Had to stop, plant, and get it back in, and couldn't get it back in time. Takes that slider right back up the middle and then turns it into a hustle double.
Beach whale look.
He got there and looked like he might have hurt his hand.
Just the second hit given up by Giolito tonight. And suddenly the lead is in a bit of danger as Ricky Renteria takes the jaunt out to the mound. There's the call. Jace Fry will come in. 7 innings plus, 2 hits allowed, 1 hit batter, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. A gem for Giolito. He wanted to stay in, but he'll give up the ball. We'll come back with a runner at second and a 2-0 lead on the board. Jace Fry coming in.
To face Joey Wendell. On for the 38th time. His ERA at 4.32. He's 0-2. And there's nobody out here in the 8th inning.
You've got a battery of 4 straight left-handers. So Giolito, you could see on his face that he was hoping to get to stay in, but you do have the 4 lefties in a row coming up, which is inviting for Jace Fry. There's strike 1. Wendell didn't like it. Our pitch cast presented by Toyota was much more infatuated with the pitch. Third base side and through. Robertson, as the ball tipped away, comes home, and it's 2-1.
31st run driven in by Wendell, and he represents the tying run with nobody out here in the 8th inning. When this ball hits off Yomer's glove, then it's a pretty easy decision, and Robertson scores easily.
Jump monster got him.
Almost goes down, but scores without a play.
So Gomez will pinch hit for Perez. And Giolito finishes 7 innings plus 1 earned run. And Ricky Renteria is going to go out there and play matchups again. We saw him do it in the win yesterday. 2 innings. 5 pitchers yesterday. Jace Fry gets the 1 out. 1 batter, I should say. Now Manaya looking for that first out.
in Tampa Bay with coverage beginning at 11:30 with White Sox pregame live. You can stream the game on the NBC Sports app. And our Lakeside Bank call to the pen. It's Juan Minaya, who inherits the tying run at first base, nobody out. At the bottom part of the order, Carlos Gomez is doing the pinch hitting on for the 28th time. Is Minaya? ERA of 4.29 and a 1-2 record.
Gomez is not having his most dynamic offensive season, but he still has power in that bat with 12 doubles and 8 home runs.
He is 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter, however, this year.
Wendell at first draws a throw. Joey Wendell does have 7 stolen bases this year, 7 of the nearly 70 for Tampa Bay. Strike 1. Bullpen trying to close it out for the Sox. Sox bullpen will, you would imagine, be constantly churning for the remainder of this game with the matchup play of manager Ricky Renteria. 1-2 on Gomez.
Sox pen up and going. It's Danish and Avila.
You wonder how Danish would feel coming into this game, especially in a key spot, considering this is the stadium where he watched baseball as a kid. He visited here all the time, about 40 minutes away. Family and friends to be here all weekend. Saw Kurt Hassler cutting in front to answer the very loud bullpen phone here at Tropicana Field. Is not on vibrate. That's strike 3 and 1 down. Wendell occupying first. Gomez can't run. 1 away.
That's the splitter. Nice stop by Omar. Gomez can't run but tries to. Wendell was taking a very big lead at first base. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't gone yet. If he's going to take a lead like that, you would expect he would be going pretty early in the count here.
And his secondary leads, he was hopping into huge secondary leads as well. So Malik Smith with Wendell at first, 1 out, and a tough guy to double off here. There's the throw. There he goes. Pitches outside. Throw to second is not in time. And the tying runs at second base.
Lead he was taking, you had to figure he's got to be off to the races. And there was really no chance at all for Omar to gun him down. So he's now 8 of 12 in stolen bases, and that represents a tying run. Huge jump. No chance. That is a gigantic lead of 14 feet, and then he's off to the races.
Two-1 game, bottom 8, 1 down. Smith way late, 1-1. Minaya trying to protect Giolito's 2-1 advantage. looks away, kicks away. Wendell to third. He might think about coming home, and he does slam on the brakes as Omar got there quickly enough. But the first reaction by Narvaez, I don't know that he saw immediately where it went, and Wendell was at third before Omar had the ball.
This is a wild pitch, and this one gets away a good distance from Omar. Tries to backhand it again. That just doesn't work a whole lot. And that turns out to be a big play because now it forces the infield in at all four positions. No angles for any ground ball through the infield, and this, the artificial surface, it's a little quicker than most.
Two and one. Here comes Wendell. He's coming home. Bunt laid down. We are tied. Narvaez ran into Wendell. The ball's down the line, and Malik Smith can really fly. He's into second base. The game is tied.
It's going to be a base hit. And what Joe McEwing wants to know is, did he interfere at all with Omar? There's a consideration.
Well, the runner is allowed the baseline.
And he's saying right now that Ricky Renteria believes that it was interference. And you saw Ramon De Jesus say, nope, a clean play at the plate as he's trying to score. Omar stumbles over the bat, and then Wendell stumbles over Omar. Great suicide bunt.
Well, there was no intent there by Wendell to interfere.
No.
And he actually made an affirmative act to try to get out of the way, it looked like.
It looked like he did for me also. And so De Jesus is going to call in Jerry Meals, who's the crew chief, who has much more experience than he has at this. It does go, and it's scored at this point. Single RBI E2.
So the wording on the rule is willfully and deliberately interferes with a fielder with the obvious intent, and so I don't think you can say willfully.
No, he tried right here to avoid him and just couldn't. Then the throw does get away, and there's the go-ahead run at second base.
So Kiermaier gets the walk. And Duffy will bat with one out.
That's 7 sacrifices for Smith. So he picked the right guy to use as the man for the suicide squeeze.
That's strike one, laid in there to Duffy. The other rule in that case that could have applied had Wendell already scored, he did not, is that if you interfere after you've scored a run in any way, whether willfully or not, then in fact there's going to be an out. But that wasn't the case. So 2 strikes on Duffy. Bauer is next. 0-2 in the dirt and blocked this time by Narvaez. side, and stolen base at third for Malik Smith.
Anaya never even looked back, and that's why Smith took off. So he steals his 21st bag of the year. And now it sets up a different inner defense for the Sox.
Two balls, two strikes. Runner goes from first. And Kiermaier is going to have to return to the bag.
Kiermaier does the right thing. He asked Jerry Meals if indeed it was a foul ball. No reason to take the advice of any of the middle infielders. You might as well ask the ump. Duffy normally is a pretty good contact hitter. He has, however, fanned once tonight.
Throw to third. Two. That's a swing and a miss for strike three. And two gone.
And we're going to go to Luis Avila. He inherits runners at the corners. It's a tie ball game. No margin for error here. On for the 50th time. He's 2-0. His ERA at 3.69. And Jake Bauers with a night of no contact.
The only contact has been him being hit by a pitch. Fouled away. Back to the squeeze by Malik Smith. The question arose too as we were talking about it. Was he out of the batter's box on the bunt? It looks as though his foot could be argued that it was slightly on the line. However, you could make the argument that he was out of the batter's box as well on that bunt.
You could. It just was not made.
0-2. That's strike three. Avilan, as quickly as he came in, gets rid of Bowers. We will play the ninth, tied at 2.
Sergio Romo comes into the ball game. He's on for the 53rd time. ERA just under 3.5 there. You look at the rest of the numbers with 54 strikeouts and 49 2/3. He's a side wheeler, not an overwhelming fastball, but he's got some pretty good stuff from the side. And Adames comes in, Willie Adames, to play shortstop.
First one is a strike, and a new catcher as well. Jesus Sucre is in, so Adames batting for Robertson in the 6th spot now, and Sucre into the 8th position, leaving nobody on the bench for Tampa Bay. Remember, Robertson went head first on that slide at second base. He was working out that hand, as you said, and he's out of the game. One of the most important players offensively and defensively combined on this team.
Last pitch, a good sidearm breaking ball from Romo. That's been a staple of his since he came into this league.
One down. Daniel Palka, the batter. Wild play to tie this game on the bunt. And Ricky Renteria came out to argue, did not get the result he wanted. Again, there are a couple rules in play there, as we talked about, with the foot in the batter's box, but as well the interference by the runner. And the rule does ask for, at least the way I'm reading it, it asks for interference to be intentional in order to cause the out to be called, and there was no intent there, at least the way I'm reading the rule.
That's the way the umpires ruled it.
So here we are, 9th inning, we're tied at 2 in a whole new ball game.
And unfortunately, Lucas, who threw the ball as well as you could throw it, will get a no decision for his efforts tonight.
Ball and 2 strikes on Polka. Does Daniel have one more late game home run in him for the week? Not this time. 13th strikeout for the Rays staff.
Straight change in a couple of them, and the last of which was the wipeout straight change from Romo. We'll take another look at it. Good motion, and the ball just disappears.
Two down for Ravi. In the air, right field. Smith is back on the warning track. And we will play the bottom of the 9th. The Rays will have Crone, Choi, and Adames coming up.
It's the night of Jose Abreu, and it's been a good one. Got a couple of hits tonight, the second of which was a 2-run homer. Plus, he's had a very good defensive night. Made a couple of outstanding plays at first base. And Jose Abreu, our Miller Lite hold true moment as Luis Avilan stays in the game to face their #1 home run hitter.
22 of them for C.J. Crone. 19 doubles as well. And Avilan takes aim. Avilan to Crone for ball 1. Two balls and no strikes on C.J. Crone. Sox have used Fry, Manaya, and Avilan out of the bullpen now. Hard hit to third. Sanchez is in front of it, and there's one gone. Choi, a swing and a miss that looked rather uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was not one of his better swings.
Oh, 1. Grounded foul, 0-2. So now you've had him out in front twice. What's your pitch?
I like the good fastball under his hands because he slowed his bat down on a couple of off-speed pitches. Might as well throw it up, keep it in, and see if you can throw it by him.
Breaking ball downstairs. One ball, 2 strikes. There's the swing for strike 3. Downstairs with a fastball, 2 gone.
That was an at-bat where Choi just looked really uncomfortable the entire at-bat, wiping him out with a fastball. And down on strikes he goes.
So now the rookie, the 22-year-old Willie Adames, one of the top prospects the Rays have, with 4 homers this year and 121 at-bats in the majors. Off the plate outside, Wendell would be next. Joey Wendell's romp around the bases is the reason we're here in a tie game in the 9th. Three and 0. .30, and he got him to swing and miss at a ball out of the zone.
Well, that shows you how young Adames is, because you get the 3-0 green light. The last thing you want to swing at is a changeup down and away.
Yeah, it's not eternally green.
No, it is not. Swing regardless of where the ball is. It's just swing if you like the pitch. He couldn't have liked the last pitch. Another change.
Another swing and a miss.
That was a good one.
How about a third one?
Might as well, if you got confidence to get it over the first 2. Assume you have confidence to get it over a third time.
He might swing at a ball out of the zone anyway.
It's probably the way it's headed.
Payoff pitch on Adames. Breaking ball grounded to first. Avilan's got to get over there. He's safe.
Well, Luis just got off slowly, and I'm sure he realized at this point he's a veteran pitcher. You've got to get off the mound, and it allowed the inning to stay alive, so it goes as a base hit. Thomas decided to slide in, not recommended, but he got the call, and he went in feet first. The late start by Avilan, and that's all it took to get in just ahead of his arrival at the bag.
Sox are going to ask for the review here. There's nothing to lose with a crew chief challenge.
At this point, that's the winning run. There's no reason not to take a look at it.
Really close play, and the cloud of dust certainly doesn't help matters either. Good luck.
Yeah, really hard to tell.
I actually don't think, I think Adames' foot got there first regardless of when the ball got there.
That, to me, I thought he was safe in real time, and nothing that I've seen has dissuaded me of that.
Umpires agree in New York and here. And the winning run is at first. Looked like there, Adames actually slid into Avilan's foot. A couple of weeks ago, you get a free kick for that in the World Cup. Hard challenge, as they call it. Joey Wendell, who has been a pain in the neck for the Sox at points this season with a home run in the first series. That RBI he picked up in the 8th inning was his first since July 21st. A couple of weeks ago. And then he ran around the bases, coming home on the bunt from Malik Smith. Lucas Giolito was tremendous tonight. 7 innings plus 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and on that ball in the dirt, Adames did not go.
Sucre is in the on-deck circle.
He came in after Gomez pinch hit for Perez in the 8th. That forced Juan Minaya into the game. Minaya went 1 inning, 2/3 of an inning, I should say, as there's a strike. Avilan got the final out in the 8th. Trying to get the final out in the 9th. Two and one. Three and one. Avilan will throw to first. He's got him. Oh, he just got back.
That was a slow move. That was a move of deception. Had he speeded it up a little bit over there, because he had him leaning the wrong way. Adames was leaning towards second base. And the call by John Tumpain that he got back in under the tag.
Oh, he just absolutely had him in his crosshairs.
He did. Slow move, though.
Three and one. Another throw to first. Three balls and a strike. Joey Wendell, the batter. Avilan home. Wendell clubs it to right field. Avi is in the corner, and this ball is foul.
Looked like it just barely would have had enough, but he had hooked at the last minute. That ball stayed fair a long time before finally crossing over just outside the line.
Joey Wendell's got a hit in 7 straight games. He is one of the hot bats for the Rays, who come off the sweep of the Angels. 3-2. Fisted by Wendell towards second and down, pinging to center field. Runners are at the corners for Sucre.
So that's going to be it for Avilan, as Ricky's going to go to the pen once again. This time it's going to be Tyler Danish. This ball not hit hard, and fortunately Adames had not gone to second base. So puts runners at the corners. Tyler Danish is going to be the pitcher. And as Avilan strolls out, so will we. We'll be back. Winning run 90 feet away at third base. A useless run at first base. And they're going to concede second base. For some reason, Wendell won't take it.
Tyler Danish, who grew up about 40 minutes away from here, was a Rays fan growing up, loved watching James Shields pitch, has 2 strikes, as now Wendell does take second base. So the force is gone. 2 strikes on Sucre. No balls and 2 strikes. 2 on, 2 out. Fouled off.
Baez wanted that one down and out of the zone, and Tyler didn't get it there. Omar was letting him know in no uncertain terms he wanted that ball to be bounced.
Tyler Danish was 3 years old when the Devil Rays played their first game in this building. He's been watching games here for years. James Shields was in the clubhouse before the game, and he said to Don Cooper, one of these guys in here, his favorite player growing up was me. Who is it? Coop was sitting right next to Tyler Danish. Tyler had this sheepish smile on his face for part of this. Coop was going through all the guys and finally came up with Danish as he looked just to his right. But James said, you never told me that. You were holding it back from me. But a bunch of reporters asked James the question. A couple questions about Danish before the game. James said it made me feel old, but I'll take it. 0-2 in the dirt. Tyler Danish just up from AAA. Check swing, no go. Two and two. He struck him out. We will play the 10th inning tonight. Danish gets the job done. To the 10th we go. Official sponsor for extra innings. And here we are in the 10th at Tropicana Field.
And we get a new pitcher in the ball game. It is Jose Alvarado. On for the 48th time, his ERA a fine 2.40. The record not great at 1-3. Control has been an issue. 23 walks in 45 innings.
Mostly fastballs, 74% fastball. Slider, curveball is what he'll show. He'll face Narvaez first. Garcia and Delmonico to follow, and the Rays, if they have anything, they have arms. This is not the type of team you want to get into a filibuster with.
They've got a few of those down there.
First one a strike. So Romo 1 inning 2 strikeouts. The only reliever that the Sox have gotten anything off of tonight, the only pitcher Sox have runs off of, is Jamie Schultz, who allowed a Abreu's home run in the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pretty good pitch. He didn't get the call.
One and 2 for Omar. Tampa got its runs in the 8th inning on a wild play on a bunt from Malik Smith, scoring Joey Wendell. Smith stranded at 3rd in that inning. Two balls, 2 strikes, and to close the book on that play, the strange play from the 8th inning with the bunt. We discussed that the unintentional contact was the reason for no call on the play, no call of interference, and we've been in contact with our rules expert Rich Marazzi as well, and he agrees that no call is the right call because the runner and catcher were both doing what they were supposed to do, and the contact was inadvertent. So if you haven't seen the play, here it is. And Malik Smith as well, very close to being out of the batter's box, but the foot looked like it was on the line. There's the contact. Wendell screaming down the line, and Omar gets clipped.
Well, he gets clipped after he hit the bat. I mean, so a lot of things were in unique situations to set that up. And no call, and it went as a tying run.
And on we go. Lofted left side. Duffy can't get there. Through the bullpen he goes, and a nice catch on one hop in the crowd. So that's one of those plays where you're saying if there's a giant mound in foul territory, the fielders don't like it too much. That was flat ground, but
yeah, they were okay there because it was the plate,
right?
It wasn't the actual mound itself.
But hypothetically, if that were the mound,
that would have been tough.
There'd be a Tal's Hill sort of feel to it.
There would be one of those, and usually a spill to go with it.
Two balls, 2 strikes. We were talking about this in Houston, but I love that all fields are unique. They can have, some do, some don't, they can have their own nooks and crannies. We have, I don't know that people would call the catwalks charming here, but at least they have their own unique set of rules.
They do. I don't think charming would be the description, but they are unique.
They're different. You should go to every park and have something different face you. It's a true home field advantage.
Pretty much you do.
But not in the same way as the odd rules that go with the rings here.
No. Fortunately.
We need to have it like back in the old days where they cordon off the crowd in the outfield and have them right there field level.
Yeah, probably not.
You don't think so?
No, it's a good idea, but yeah. Paging the 1910s, is that what it is?
Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah.
Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. And in case you didn't join us early on in the game, here are the ground rules for catwalks, lights, and suspended objects, which is a tremendous band name. Either of the lower 2 catwalks, fair territory, home run. Upper 2 catwalks, in play, so you can catch it off those upper 2 catwalks. If it stays on a catwalk or a suspended object, you get 2 bases, and if it hits anything in foul territory, it's foul and dead. Second base, Wendell. We're out number 1. 2 years ago, just in case you haven't seen the catwalks come into play here at Tropicana Field, Miguel Sano to Saturn with a baseball. But the roof got in the way and the catwalk did as well. Evan Longoria was underneath. That's called knowing your home field.
Stayed right with it and made the play.
And that's an out. The former Suncoast Dome, now Tropicana Field. Saw the logo behind the plate. This is the 20-year anniversary of Tampa Bay parentheses Devil Rays baseball. We came into the booth today and we had Akinori Iwamura bobblehead dolls.
You can never get too many of those, by the way.
I would agree. We have 2 and we're pining for more. Fouled off right side. What was the quirkiest thing you ever saw at a field you played on? I had a story in the minor leagues that a trainer told me that in a game that he was a part of, there was some problem with the field. There was like a puddle that wouldn't go away, a sewage problem, something like that. And they decided we've got to play this game. And so they cordoned off with like caution tape the area where the sewage leak was, and they put a cone there. And if the ball went in there, it was a double. Just heard the story, wasn't there.
Yeah, fortunately that won't be repeated too often. But
why? Why unfortunately? It's good fun. Broken bat grounder. Garcia's out. 2 gone.
So you were of the mind that you can never have too much sewage on a major league field?
Well, Dodger Stadium disagrees, okay, with what happened in the exhibition game they had where they had the sewage backup.
Okay.
Not a good idea. Yeah, I like the idea of the Ray tank being in play.
Well,
that
that's
Jim
fine.
Angio is suggesting, our Hall of Fame director. At least I think that's his idea here. Put the Rays in play.
No.
So what's the quirkiest thing you saw, field-wise?
I'll have to go back in the archives.
To the microfiche
Yeah.
in your brain?
Start to think.
That sepia-toned history book you've got up there?
I'll get back to you on that.
Please do. We have time.
Okay.
1-0 on Nicky, and a ball to strike. One and one to Delmonico. Who's the hero tonight? Line drive right field. Malik Smith can't get there on a hop. Nicky's on his way to second. Throw is not in time. Head first, a 2-out double.
Lefty-lefty advantage didn't help Alvarado very much. As Nicky pulled the ball, he's going to be taken down for a pinch runner. It's going to be Adam Engel coming on representing the go-ahead run as Nicky pulls it into the corner. Smith can't get there. Then he takes advantage of the fact that he's got to backpedal before he can right himself to make the throw, and Nicky a hustle double.
So Nicky's done it 1 for 4. Engel replaces him. And it's up to Tim Anderson, who has been deaf to left-handers in his career. They're going to intentionally walk it. They'll do it to get to Moncada, who's 0 for 4. Kyle Snyder.
He's coming out to give him the scouting report because Alvarado has not been out there. So whatever the benefit of the analytics is, he's going to give it to Alvarado.
2 on, 2 out. Moncada against Alvarado. Again, very fastball heavy pitcher. That's what he relies on.
And I think in looking at some of the conversation between the two, it looked like they were saying fastballs away. So we'll have to see exactly what Sucre wants.
First one may provide a hint. That was basically down the middle.
Sucre wanted on the outside corner. He threw it down the middle.
Oh, 1. That's down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Smith, Kiermaier, Duffy coming up for Tampa in the 10th. Way inside. There's Hector. Looks like he will be called upon with the Rays having 2 left-handers. Sox have used 4 relievers already. 2 lefties, 2 righties. Long look in from Alvarado. Moncada sears it to left field. This ball is off the track. The Sox take the lead. 1 in, second one is out at the plate.
Tim did not hustle around third base. And he was thrown out. That was a perfect throw to the plate. It looked like Tim thought he was going to score easily on that, and he didn't do it.
Moncada drives in 1. The Sox do take the lead. Anderson thought he was going to score and gets buried at the plate. 3-2 Sox. The first run, Engel got home. Tim Anderson around third was thrown out.
Moncada just obliterates this baseball. And the throw comes in, and it's a good one to the plate, but Tim is just not running. By the time he starts to heat it up, he's out by plenty. He should have been safe easily. He's just coasting around. When he realizes that he's very little chance of scoring, then he heats it up for the first time.
Nick Capra's final move was almost to get the whip out in terms of like a horse racing jockey. You know what I mean?
And it comes up 7-6-2. Some good relays, but you need to run.
Fouled away by Malik Smith.
Santiago comes in to try to nail it down. ERA close to 5.5, on for the 35th time. And it is a save situation.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Anamego, who came out of pinch front, stays in the game to play center field. That shifts Leary over to left field.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Malik Smith. In the ear, foul.
Smith is really the key to this inning because he is the speed burner. He does have a stolen base tonight. You keep him off base in a 1-run game, you're in pretty good shape.
Tyler Danish could get the win in this game in what was, as he was growing up, his home ballpark. 2-2. Hector Santiago in his career has 4 saves. They all came with the 2012 White Sox. Three balls, 2 strikes. Up high, ball 4. Malik Smith with his terrifying speed is on base. I mean, he even rushed to first. Kevin Kiermaier, the batter. Leadoff walks are no fun. When they come to the guy who has the best speed in the lineup, they're worse. And a throw, which likely will not be the last on Malik Smith. Off the plate outside, ball 1. Fouled straight back, 1-1 to Kiermaier. Smith has not shown that he's going to try to steal as yet.
That lead right at 11 feet. Just about average for a good base stealer. We'll see if he goes off a little bit more, and that will be one of the keys to the fact that he's about ready to go.
Especially considering he is not a conservative base stealer at all. Dancing off the bag, drawing a throw again. Bunt, third base, thanks. We appreciate it. Why do that with a speedy guy at first base and give up the out? But sure, Sox will take it.
Especially when you have a guy with a total. You and him are tied in sacrifices this year. You're tied at none. 0 sacrifices. So when you ask a guy to do something that he hasn't done, sometimes you drop the head of the bat, you get a pop-up. And this one could prove very costly.
One out, Duffy the batter. That is a wild call there, and whether it was Kiermaier or the bench. Out number 1. Oh, 1. Fouled away, 0-2. Bowers is next, and he certainly did not see Avila, the left-hander, very well, although he's hit lefties fairly well this year. He's next after Duffy. Smith at first. Another throw on him, trying to keep him close. Oh, 2. On the ground, Anderson, Moncada the turn, double play, Sox win! Santiago's first save since April of 2012. Moncada wins it with the bat, and a big hug for Abreu from Sanchez.
Good quick double play, 6-4-3 to end it. Sox come back in extra innings. And this one that could have slipped away easily doesn't, courtesy of Yoan Moncada. Moncada had a tough night. He was 0 for 4, hadn't had the ball out of the infield before he cracked a 2-base hit that sent home what turned out to be the winning run.
Well,
all's well that ends well.
Sometimes you take a wrong turn, you go away from the directions, but you end up where you were going anyway.
And that's how it worked out tonight.
Sox do it by the count of 3-2. For our producer, Keon Dolashahi, our director, Jim.